We're back on the internet.
Yay!
Can you believe it? How long has it been since we've done an episode?
Well, that's a tough question. Probably at least 6 months.
Yeah, the last one we did together was, I guess, back in June.
Well, yeah, it was June, wasn't it? Because it was the one where we updated everyone on our wedding and what happened with all that.
We probably should say hi to the audience first. I just thought about that. Hey everyone, and welcome to Friends in the Corner podcast, stories and topics from around the state of Kentucky. Welcome back in, everybody, to the show after a little bit of a long hiatus, and it's me, Dan, and for the first time on this show, Catherine Polly.
Isn't this like my 4th time on your show?
But this is your first time as Catherine Polly.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. Catherine Watwood has been on the show before.
Yeah. I'm still the same person. I just changed my name.
Yeah, legally.
And Dan legally owns my cat now.
Yeah.
My cat, Kit Kat.
Yeah. You'll hear her jingling. We're recording in our living room right now, so I'm sure you're going to hear all the love of Kit Kat on this wonderful update episode. But happy to be back with you guys as we kind of just give you an update where things have been. And the title of this episode I'm going to be giving here today is Where the Hell Have You Been To? Electric Boogaloo. Where the hell have you been to? You know why I call it Where the Hell Have You Been?
Is it a movie thing?
No.
Dan really likes watching movies.
So one of my early episodes of Friends in the Corner podcast is an episode called Where the Hell Have You Been? It's when I took a similar hiatus for a while when I was transitioning jobs, and when I came back, I gave everyone an update about where my life was as a promising tour guide at a local distillery.
Okay, I get that. So, but what about the Electric Boogaloo part?
That's a movie reference.
Oh, see, that's what I thought.
Have you ever heard someone say ... 2 Electric Boogaloo?
What's the movie?
I don't actually know.
I've literally never heard that. You totally made that up.
No, it's a legit thing. But I hear it referenced in other circumstances, so I don't know.
Wait, so how do you even know that it's referencing a movie?
Because I know there's a movie out there. I mean, we can Google it. We have technology.
Electric Boogaloo. I'm going to Google that right now.
Right. But hey, we want to welcome everyone back into Friends in the Corner podcast. Once again, Dan Polly here with my wife, Catherine Polly. And we want to just give you guys a little bit of an update where things have been the last 6 months since we've talked to y'all. Well, happy 2021, everybody. What a hellhole year 2020 was.
Mm-hmm, it sure was.
Remember the 20 in 2020 challenge I made? Yeah, that was funny. But yeah, Catherine, let's dive into it and tell everyone where we're at. So last we left off.
Well, real quick, can I update everyone on the Electric Boogaloo thing?
Yeah, go for it.
So this is actually really interesting. It was a really bad movie in 1984. It's called Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo, and it got like a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, but it's got that cult reference now of Electric Boogaloo.
That's true.
To any sequel ever made.
Is that because it's a sequel? Like, because it's a sequel? Was Breakin' 1 a good movie?
I've never seen it.
That kind of makes me want to watch it.
Well, we got a date night now planned.
Watching Breakin' 1, then Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo. I'm sorry, you wanted to talk about our year.
Yeah, let's talk about 2020. And how would we describe 2020?
It was not an Electric Boogaloo. It's bad.
Well, by those rating standards, it was kind of an Electric Boogaloo. It was really bad.
29% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, that's pretty high for 2020, actually.
Yeah,
but
like a 10%.
Yeah, so
it's worse than Sharknado.
So, just to give everybody a bit of a heads up, so we did an episode back in June, kind of updating people where our wedding was at. But around this time last year, actually, the day this episode comes out is April 1st. this was the day everything kind of got real for us. So this this time last year, we had our big wedding planned at the Griffin Gate Hotel. We were going to have all of our friends and family come into town and celebrate us in a wonderful way. But then the pandemic happened and everything shut down. And at the time, I was working from home. Catherine was also working from home from the schools. So we're kind of enjoying the pandemic for the most part. It was serious and dangerous and scary, but also it was fun to kind of be around each other. But then on April 1st of 2020, our wedding coordinator called us to let us know that our wedding had been canceled. And it was pretty poor timing that she called us on April 1st to tell us that our wedding's been canceled.
Yeah, because we were like calling our parents and our wedding party and our family, and they were like, "Oh, is this an April Fool's Day joke?" And we were like, no, it's not."
Yeah.
Kind of sucks.
Yeah, no, that was such a crazy circumstance that we told them right on that date. Like, is this I remember Max Gobby, who's been on the show before, even called me. He's like, first thing I thought is this a joke? And I was like, no, Max, this is very real.
That would have been a really good joke, though.
Yeah. But we still were able to have the wedding, and we talked about that before too, and maybe we can go into that a little bit with how things went with the wedding. But so back in June, we decided to just say, hey, I know it's not going to be perfect, but we still want to do something special to celebrate our marriage.
Yeah, and it was important to both of us to do something like on our actual wedding day. We didn't want to just elope because that seemed kind of lame considering all the fanfare we'd put into the first wedding that got canceled on April Fool's Day.
Yeah, and I think, and we, and that date, our wedding date is June 27th, and we wanted to make that date special. I think it was so important for us. We had that date just envisioned in our heads, and we were going to do whatever it took to make that work. And thankfully, we had some really good friends that helped us out with
Wedding to Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, so but to replan our
Dan
wedding.
thought my joke was good.
It was good. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we were playing Wedding to Electric Boogaloo. And and we planned it not at the luxurious grounds of Griffin Gate Hotel.
Our first wedding was going to be really nice, by the way. We were dropping a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
Like, we bought really nice stuff. The Griffin Gate's amazing.
Yeah.
It was going to be a premium wedding.
Yes. And then we had to settle for Daniel Summers' backyard.
Shout out to Summers.
Shout out to Daniel Summers. Yeah, man. And his wife Kelly, she's great. Yeah, but they let us get married in their backyard in Lexington with about 50 people. We had a tent set up. We had Gus's chicken. Shout out to Gus.
We sprayed a lot of poison on the yard so the bugs wouldn't show up.
Yeah, at the time, Max Gobby was working for Orkin, so he sprayed the entire lawn so we wouldn't get eaten by mosquitoes.
Yeah, Max was one of Dan's groomsmen. We actually sprayed the lawn about 3 times with 3 different kinds of poison.
Yeah. And then we had the tent set up, which is good because it rained on the day of our wedding.
It rained before the wedding, which is good luck.
Yeah. It stopped right before the ceremony started.
What? Yeah. No, it stopped right before our first look, actually.
Oh, did it?
It did. Yeah. Don't you remember that?
No. That whole day was kind of a blur.
Dan was really nervous.
I was. You were so beautiful that day. I didn't know what to do. So we went and we still got married on June 27th of 2020, became Mr. and Mrs. Polly, and we had all the important people with us there, and we even did a live stream of the wedding, which you can find on the Friends in the Corner podcast Facebook page. I made sure to get that advertised, and I think were you okay with that? I never really cleared that with you.
Well, that was the thing that happened.
I thought, it got good traction on the page.
Because all our friends and family watched it, they couldn't come.
And then people shared it, and so I did it. You gotta, if you can't promote yourself, who can you promote?
Oh, Dan.
Catherine's really excited. I'm getting the show started back up.
I I am actually. I'm really excited.
Yeah. But hey, so the wedding happened, and it didn't happen the way we thought it was going to, but we're happy that it still happened the way it did.
Yeah,
And
honestly, truly, I loved having a small wedding. We thought we wanted a big wedding, but having a small wedding was amazing because we actually got to talk to everyone. We didn't waste a bunch of money on it. It was really fun. We didn't waste a bunch of money.
yeah, we actually got all of our money back
said that
from
twice.
the wedding. We got all our money back from the first wedding. So we kind of came out pretty good.
Yeah, we had so much money. Like, it was awesome.
Yeah. And now to kind of make up for last year, and we'll talk about this maybe a little bit more at the end of the show, but we have a wedding 3 planned for later this year.
Shout out to Joe Biden for making our wedding possible.
Yeah, so
Biden checks.
Yeah. Well, a few Trump bucks there, but
No, we already spent those.
the Biden bills, yeah. So, yeah, it's got very political. Sorry, everybody.
Mm.
But nonetheless, yeah, we are planning our makeup reception now for later this year, where we're gonna hopefully have our entire wedding party back with us. Well, some people I know won't make it.
You want to talk about the venue a little bit?
Yeah, let's do it. So, actually, hang on. Let's wait till the end of the show, and we'll talk about wedding 3 because we just
wedding 3 electric boogaloo.
There you go. Because we still got we're only in June of 2020. There's still a lot more.
Wait, are we taking everyone through the whole timeline of everything depressing that happened in 2020?
Yeah, look, I think everyone went through a pretty shit ass year, but this is our chance to share our shit ass year and how we're coming back from it.
Okay, Dan.
Yeah.
After June 2020, what happened?
I lost my job.
Yeah. Well, that was actually before our wedding.
Yeah.
Your timeline is off.
I was furloughed and then I was laid off. So, I'm trying to find the right way to say these things. So, many people who've listened to my show know who my former employer was. And know that how I advocated for the said former employer. And unfortunately, with this year, a lot of hard decisions had to be made. And my employer first furloughed me right before the wedding, 3 weeks before my wedding day, just to point that out there. But later on this summer, they called to let me know that there wasn't any plans to bring us back right now. And they were just going to let me and the rest of the team of our team go, which sucked. Honestly, it was very hard. Even still this day, I'm still working through that stuff. And I'm open to talk about it. I went through and one of the reasons why the show stopped was because I was kind of struggling with the emotions of being laid off, and I was struggling with some depression during that period of time, and I know I'm not the only one that probably had to deal with that this past year. A lot of people had to have their life changed up a little bit from what they thought it was going to be last year.
Yeah. Well, just because you're not the only person going through something doesn't mean it's not hard, you know? You're allowed to be upset about it. Yeah. We kind of felt that way with the wedding too, like everyone told us, oh, it's okay. There are people that are dying, which is true, obviously, and horrible, absolutely horrible. But it was our wedding. Of course, we're allowed to be upset about it. And Dan's layoff, even though all these things happen to everybody, they happen to us too.
I remember we said something maybe on social media where he's like, we said, we know that things are bigger than us are happening. And we're going to try to be strong about it. And we just said that just to try to be nice because PC. And then someone responded back to one of our posts and said, "You're right. There are other things bigger than you right now." I was like, "Cool. Okay. Thanks for that sympathy card there." So,
yeah.
Ain't no rest for the wicked. Money don't grow on trees.
Well, right. And, we knew that logically, obviously. But, of course, you know, when stuff like that happens to you, you're not really thinking logically, you're thinking emotionally. And, you know, the best thing you can do to support someone, you know, that something bad happens to is just to like be there for them, you know, not tell them like, oh, it's stupid to be upset about like all that stuff, like your wedding and your layoff and whatever. Right. Yeah, you big dummy.
Yeah.
Don't be sad.
Yeah. It was hard. So it definitely was a very hard year. Mm-hmm. And it was very hard to hear the news that my former employer laid me and the rest of my team off.
Yeah.
Right when we thought, hey, you know, maybe we're gonna make it to the clear and go, but it wasn't meant to be, and it sucks. There's no ill will, you know. They had to do what they had to do, and I had to do what I had to do.
Yeah.
In a very unrelated note, I also want to say that at some point during this episode, I will be doing a tasting of Castle and Key Rye whiskey. Very unrelated, and you know, I just wanted to point that out there. But we'll be doing at the end of this episode a little bit of a review of Castle and Key Rye. I have a bourbon podcast. I need to do some bourbon reviews. Yeah. So August is when I got laid off, and so I spent a few months actually unemployed, and you know, even though like it was a really hard season, it was still kind of good for us at the same time because we did get to spend a lot more time together. All the time we didn't have together when I was working for my former employer because I worked the weekends, we kind of made up for that over the last year.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, since I'm a teacher, we were on pretty much opposite schedules for a long time. I'm sure a lot of you all understand that. I was waking up like maybe 5:30 and 6, and I was exhausted by 5 p.m., and that's when Dan came home, so.
Yeah, so. Yeah,
well, no, you didn't come home at 5. You got home at like 7, didn't you?
Some nights, yes.
Ugh. Yeah, I don't miss that.
Mm-hmm. So, after being laid off by my former employer, stay tuned for the Castle and Key Rye whiskey review. I spent a few months unemployed, and then I finally did get a job, though, and I got the opportunity to work at Buffalo Trace Distillery as a
so
tour
you're
guide.
naming them by name?
Yeah, there's less collateral with them. So I worked at Buffalo Trace Distillery as a tour guide for 1 week, working for one of the largest bourbon brands in the world. I got to tell people all the great stuff about Buffalo Trace products, about Weller, about Pappy, and then I got to be yelled at when we didn't have Blanton on the shelves. It was a very fun experience.
Was it?
No.
An electric Boogaloo?
No, it wasn't. Definitely not. But I did get to do a few tours, and if you were lucky enough to have Dan for all 3 tours that he led at Buffalo Trace, let me know. You can tweet me at FITC Podcast and tell me about your experience with me for my 1 week as a tour guide at Buffalo Trace.
Mm-hmm. What you really need is like a bumper sticker. Put on your butt, like with your Twitter handle that says like, "How's my tour guiding?"
How's my tour guiding? Yeah.
Yeah. It can be your first merch.
I've got a few things I wanted to do merch wise. How's my tour guiding though is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag how's my tour guiding.
It has to go like on your butt though, so people can see it as you walk away. That's like what a bumper sticker is.
Well, I'm not a tour guide anymore, so.
Well, you need it anyways. It'd be funny.
Well, after quitting Buffalo Trace, I did find some full-time work with another employer, which has been really, really good. And it genuinely has. Like, I've actually been enjoying it a lot. And I finally did get back on my feet, and I was finally able to get back to work. And at the end of 2020, I kind of got back to a better start than where it was before, wouldn't you say?
You know, I definitely would say that. I feel a little more hopeful there for the future. Of course, this wasn't true at the time, like in January, but the decline in COVID cases gives me a lot of hope for what's going to happen, the stability in the job market and the economy. I don't know. I feel like I should knock on wood.
We're due
for like a wasp swarm or something.
Yeah. Well, and now we have a little bit more optimism, I think, too, because we have been vaccinated. So you've got
we have. Maybe we should talk about that.
You got both doses, and I got my first one. I'm going to be getting my second one here in the next couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think after I got that first shot, I felt like kind of like a breath of fresh air almost.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, we both got our COVID shots at UK at Kroger Field down in Lexington, and their whole setup was really good the way they had it going.
Oh yeah, it was like the Chick-fil-A of vaccination sites. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah,
it literally took me 5 minutes to get in and out, and there were hundreds of people there. And you know what the most amazing part was about it? That's the only place I've been since the pandemic started where every single person was wearing their mask correctly.
Yeah.
It was an astonishing sight. It was beautiful.
Well, what I will say though, you know, I don't like to be too polarizing on the show. Mm-hmm. But I don't think this is something that's very polarizing. I think this is something I'm very passionate about saying, that if you have the ability to get the vaccine, please get the vaccine.
Right.
Let us get back to normal. And that it starts with this bit of progress. And I'm not really a huge vaccine person. Like the flu shot, I hardly really ever get the flu shot.
You really should get the flu shot, though.
And now I'm considering doing that now. Mm-hmm. Every year now because of this. But this is, you know, something that I think is very important just for us to try to get our lives back to normal. So if you do have the opportunity to get the vaccine, no matter where, if it's at UK, great. If not, anywhere that you can get it, highly encourage you to, so that we can kind of just get back to some variance of normalcy.
Right.
Wouldn't you agree?
No, I completely agree with you. I think it is an excellent idea for everybody listening to this podcast to go get the COVID vaccine. Go do it. It's fine. I got really sick for like a day, but then I was fine. Yeah. It's all fine.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find resources online. Definitely worth checking out. So definitely do it. Just do it. Just do it, please.
Nike. Just do it.
Just do it. Well, Nike's already getting themselves into some hot and matter.
You know what I actually saw about that? So I'm assuming by the time this comes out, everyone will know about the Satan shoes by Little Nas X that have a drop of blood in the sole. They're actually suing Little Nas X over those.
I saw that. Yeah. But aren't they the ones that produced and distributed them?
No, actually. Have you read the articles about it?
Not really.
So they didn't know, like, anything about it. It was a third-party distributor. You know, I haven't been able to figure out if they're actually Nikes or if they're just painted to look like Nikes, or if they got Nikes and they designed them to look like that after they bought the Nikes. Oh. But, like, it didn't have anything to do with Nike. And Nike was like, yo, we're going to sue you because, like, this is weird and creepy.
I didn't know Nike had, like, a third part. I mean, I guess for, like, manufacturing the shoes, I guess I kind of get that. But.
Well, but what I mean is a totally different company took the shoes and was like, we're gonna design these Nikes, and they may have been Nikes that they like added stuff to, or they may have been not Nikes at all, and they're just like counterfeit Nikes.
Gotcha.
So Little Nas X is just selling some like bootleg Nikes with like blood in them.
Yeah. Interesting.
I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah. Definitely been something. But it's also interesting to see the people who were like 3 or 4 years ago, like super anti-Nike, all of a sudden come back around to Nike. Because, super anti-Nike because of Colin Kaepernick. Now those same people are coming back like, good job, Nike, way to go.
I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of people congratulating Nike for like suing the company. I think there's just a lot of confusion about it. Like... Yeah. People, maybe, I guess that's why Nike is suing.
It's a weird time to be alive right now. Yeah. There's a pandemic.
Yeah, personally with all that, I have a really hard time caring about Little Nas X. Like, you know what? Obviously, I don't think it's a good thing he's selling Satan shoes, but like, you know, we're in a global pandemic. Like, really? This is like what everyone cares about? Like, this is the thing we're all worried about?
Well, you know, everyone's already watched all of Netflix
Yeah.
by this time, so we need.
There's no more Tiger King. We
No
need
more
more
Tiger
Tiger
King.
King, so everyone can stop being concerned
yeah,
about this.
Tiger King was this time last year, which is just hard to think about.
Okay, wasn't he in the process of like getting pardoned? Like, was that something I imagined?
He pleaded. I think he asked Donald Trump for a pardon, but he was not given it. Or
Well, you know who's really living their best life now?
Carl Baskin.
Yes, she's on like Cameo, and I think she owns his tiger place now, right? His tiger sanctuary.
Yeah, she won the rights to his zoo, from what I heard in the lawsuit. So she owns Joe Exotic's zoo now, and I don't know what she did with it after that. But yeah, she owns it, and then I guess she was on Dancing with the Stars too. So
Was she good at it?
I don't know. I don't watch Dancing with the Stars, but
Have you ever watched Dancing with the Stars?
I watched the episodes that they had in the early days with Stacy Keibler because she was very hot.
Who is Stacy Keibler?
Stacy Keibler. Wrestling nerds assemble.
Gosh, it's one of those things.
Yeah, she's an ex-pro wrestler, but she's also very attractive. She also dated George Clooney for a while.
But her name is Stacy Keibler, like a Keibler elf.
Oh, no.
Why would you use that as your wrestling name?
Well, that's her real name. That's her shoot name.
Wait, what's her wrestling name?
Stacy Keibler. And her real name is Stacy Keibler.
What? You just said that was her shoot name. What's her wrestling name?
Her wrestling name is Stacy Keibler. Shoot means real.
I didn't know those were too hard to connect. The train of that logic didn't work for me.
I was using wrestling lingo. I'm sorry.
I don't know anything about wrestling.
I know. But yeah, Stacy Keibler, who went by the name Stacy Keibler in the WWE, wrestled there. And then after she was done being WWE Stacy Keibler, she went on to be just a really attractive Stacy Keibler that went and did Stacy Keibler things. Also,
so she was just like a social influencer after that?
Pretty much. She also dated George Clooney and just kind of...
Or is it social media influencer? I don't know.
She was an actor. She was in like How I Met Your Mother and stuff like that.
Okay, but everyone was in How I Met Your Mother.
That is true.
Was it like Katy Perry in How I Met Your Mother?
I think so. I think I remember.
She was Honey, right?
She was Honey.
Yeah.
Lynn Miranda Manuel.
I don't even know who that is.
Alexander Hamilton. He was.
Lin-Manuel?
He was in an episode.
Yeah, the second half of this podcast is going to be us recreating Hamilton.
Yeah. Anyways, Stacy Keibler was in it. Also, she's not an elf. She actually is very tall and she has legs that go on for days. You want to hear me talk more about this attractive woman?
Oh, Dan.
That should be on a t-shirt. That should be on a bumper sticker.
The Keibler lady?
No, oh, Dan.
Oh, I thought you were talking about that lady. And I was like, oh my gosh, Dan.
No. No. But yeah, that's the only time I've really ever watched Dance with the Stars. And that was like one of the very first seasons.
I actually love watching YouTube clips from Dancing with the Stars. I don't know if I've ever told you that.
Oh, I never knew that. Yeah, we've never talked about Dance with the Stars.
Well, you like getting on YouTube too. You go down a lot of YouTube rabbit holes.
I do.
One of the YouTube rabbit holes that I like are reality shows that I don't have the patience to watch because I think it's very, very boring being into reality television, especially competition shows. I watch YouTube clips of like competition shows from like Dancing with the Stars. I watch, let's think. Oh, what's the one where the people make clothes? Project Runway. I watch YouTube clips from Project Runway. I watch YouTube clips from like Survivor and stuff because I think it's too boring watching the actual shows. Now, a really good like competition show that I will watch full episodes of is America's Next Top Model. I would watch that all day because Tyra Banks is crazy and it's very entertaining. The Bachelor. Well, I kind of gave up on that actually because I thought it was boring. America's Next Top Model is great because Tyra Banks is crazy.
There you go. Mm-hmm. References. How did we get? Oh, we were talking about. We were talking about reality shows. Stacy Keibler, Dance with the Stars, Carol Baskins, Tiger King, Pandemic. That's the train of thought.
Oh, the COVID vaccine is where we started.
How did we? Oh, How did we go from COVID vaccine to Project Runway?
A beautiful, beautiful train of thought.
Yeah, and if you've listened this long to our random train of thought, thank you for sticking around this long. I hope you guys have missed all this awesome content we've been creating.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Not awkward at all. But yeah, now that we're kind of back on our feet, and when I say we, pretty much me. Well, now that I'm back on my feet, and now that we're married and we got that part for the most part behind us, my hope is to keep the show going again, and we're going to try to do some more episodes. I love having Catherine on, so maybe we'll try to do some episodes with just us.
I love having Catherine on the show too.
Yeah, Catherine Polly. And we're going to try to have some other guests in the coming weeks. We're going to be having Angelo Carriero back on, which I'm really excited about. We're going to be talking about WrestleMania, and we're going to be talking about the NFL draft. And we've got a few other people I want to reach out to do interviews with. I'm really excited about. So I'm excited to see where the show goes. We won't be doing the Patreon anymore, but if you really do want to support the show, the best thing you can do is leave us reviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening to the show. Just leave us some 5-star reviews. That helps a lot.
And like and share.
Like and
and
share.
Make sure you follow Dan on Twitter because he works really, really hard on his Twitter posts.
Yes, I do. So yeah, follow the show at FITC Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can follow me personally on Twitter at DanPolly14 as well. But yeah, we are getting the show started back up, and we've got a pretty big year ahead of us, even just beyond the podcast, babe, don't we? So, as we were mentioned earlier into the episode, we are planning wedding number 3, Electric Boogaloo. What'd you call it?
Boogaloo, Dan. Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo. So, yeah, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So, it's really hard to have like a budget wedding around Lexington. So around the beginning of the school year, I was doing a lot of research on it. What is our wedding venue called?
The Foundry.
It's the Foundry?
The Foundry in downtown Frankfurt, yes.
Oh, well, it's amazing. I know I forgot the name of it, but that's just because I forget everything.
Yeah.
So the Foundry is right across the street from the old courthouse. It's absolutely, in downtown Frankfurt. I guess I should have added that. It is just stunningly beautiful. It's really industrial. The photos that I've seen taken in there look good. They give you a free sound system that you can literally hook your phone up to if you want. They have a kitchen. They let you have it the day before if you want it, which for those of you that have had a wedding, that's kind of rare.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's just absolutely gorgeous. And if you need an event venue for anything, I 150% recommend the Foundry. Shout out to the Foundry for being amazing. We could never afford to do this if they weren't giving us a really, really good deal.
Yeah, and our makeup reception, because it's not the full-on wedding, we're just doing the reception. Our makeup reception is going to be in the fall.
Yeah.
And that was also one of the reasons why we chose to do it in Frankfurt instead of Lexington, because in the fall, everything is happening in Lexington. Football games, Keeneland, basketball starting up too. So Lexington is a zoo in the fall.
Mm-hmm. Originally, we were going to do it on our anniversary, but with everything that's gone on with the pandemic, we wanted to make sure that the majority of people would be vaccinated and we'd actually be able to enjoy it without having to worry about anyone we love getting COVID, God forbid. So we're very excited about that.
Yeah, very excited. But we are excited to kind of celebrate the right way, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and we are excited to get the show started back up again, too, and we hope that you guys have enjoyed just this little where the hell have you been kind of update as we tell you guys a little bit about what's been going on with us and where things have been as we just continue to try to work through the pandemic, and we just try to, get back to normal, I guess, in a way. I didn't want this show to end. I've been doing this show for over 2 years now, and it was very important to me to make sure it came back.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. All right. But before we wrap up here, I did promise you guys that we were going to do a review of Castle and Keys rye whiskey. No,
Yeah, I forgot you were doing that.
no correlation whatsoever with anything else. Just thought it'd be fun because, we do a bourbon review show. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of a pour of the Castle and Key rye whiskey into my Glencairn. And in the meantime, Catherine is going to keep you entertained for these next couple of seconds while I do this.
Okay. Well, I guess I can tell you all about last night at our apartment. I woke up at 1 a.m. and there was this So I went in our living room and our carbon monoxide detector was going off. And I woke Dan up because I was like, oh, good Lord, we're going to have to flee this apartment with the cat. Because, I grew up, in the country. We had a chimney and stuff. So we actually did have to leave the house one time so we didn't get carbon monoxide poisoning and die. But apparently it was just low on batteries. And, get this. Whenever your carbon monoxide meter is low on batteries, it makes 4 beeps like this. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. And whenever you're going to die from carbon monoxide poisoning, it makes 5 beeps, like beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. I think I made the wrong number the first time. It was very confusing and upsetting. I'm very disappointed. They should have made them different. They should have made them sound different. Shouldn't, the death one be more urgent?
It probably should, but, why would they
Somebody's probably died of carbon monoxide poisoning because their stupid thing was confusing.
Probably. So it's very important to check your carbon monoxide detectors if you can.
Yeah, make sure you replace their batteries so you don't wake up in the middle of the night scared that you're going to die from carbon monoxide poisoning because the battery's low and they can't bother to make them sound different, the sounds that it's supposed to make.
Our listeners have learned a lot tonight.
Well, that's what I do. Okay. I'm a teacher and I teach people about interesting things that are relevant to their lives.
So the Castle and Key rye whiskey. Got myself a little pour here and we're going to be doing a little bit of review. So at the end of 2020, Castle and Key released their first brown spirit. They released their rye whiskey, aged for about 4 years, almost 4 years. It's been a while since I've given this information, but I want to say 4 years. It's on the back of the bottle, actually. No, it's not. Never mind. It's all right. Don't listen to me. Anyways, so yeah, it took them a pretty long time to get this whiskey out. And I was excited that I was able to get myself a bottle of one of the first rye whiskey releases. This is batch 1 that I have. They also have batch 2. And just recently they released a single barrel proof of the rye whiskey as well. So we'll be doing a little bit of review of it. And Catherine's gotten to try a little bit of it too in the past. So what's your feelings about the rye whiskey? Genuinely.
Well, as a teacher, I like to give a criticism sandwich. So I say nice things on the outside of my criticism, and the inside of my criticism is what the things I think. Yeah. So the first thing I have to say is the bottle is very pretty. They did a good job designing the bottle. It looks very fancy and very expensive.
Yeah.
I think they could have made it taste a lot better by maybe aging it more or using different ingredients or using different ratios of the ingredients or doing any number of things. And the third thing I have to say is the bottle is very pretty.
You said that already?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So I will we'll touch on all of that here. But yeah, I will say that honestly the bottle is really dope. I wasn't expecting the bottle to look this good, but it's a really nice bottle the way it's shaped. It has the top has the looks like the chandelier that's in the middle of the spring house at Castle and Key.
I'm gonna swing from the chandelier.
Okay, I wasn't thinking that, but sure, that works. Yeah, the label is cool for this restoration rye, and at the price, I mean, this is a pretty dope bottle you get for around $42 retail. That was
What
the other
a
thing I'm gonna say.
deal! What a deal!
It kind of is. Like I was expecting more out of it because you look at other ryes on the market, and you look at places like Wilderness Trail, and you look at places like um, wow, they're all escaping me right now. But Wilderness Trail is definitely one I was thinking about because it gets compared to a little bit. Um, and other ones like those, and they go for a lot higher than what this is, but the price point is actually really good on it too. So I do like the price point. I do like the bottle. But let's get into the actual juice.
And I'm here to supervise Dan while he tastes this whiskey.
So the first thing I'll point out, I have it poured in my Glencairn here. It is fairly light, like the
And you're what now?
It's fair in my Glencairn. That's the name of the glass.
The glass has a name.
This
You
is-
named our glass Glen.
No, that's the name of the glass that it is.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, these were on our wedding registry.
Well, I know what the glass looks like, Dan. I didn't know it was named Glen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is Glenn and Karen. All right. Anyways, not important. So I have it poured in my glass here, and kind of looking at it, honestly, it is fairly light in the amber color. It probably maybe is from the aging, from it being kind of a younger spirit. It may have also been maybe from it being blended. Maybe it's from where the barrels were at in the warehouse. But that's the one thing I will say. It looks a little bit lighter compared to some other whiskeys that I've seen. So that's going to be kind of interesting to see taste-wise. Smell is actually fairly smooth. Kind of has a little more spice to it from it being the rye whiskey, but also it has some sweet notes, which I think probably come out from the corn. But I've smelled other rye whiskeys before where they just smell like a Crayola crayon. So this is a lot more subtle than that, which I like. And we're gonna get ready for the taste.
Chug, chug, chug.
I'm not gonna chug this. So the one thing I will say is that it does come across fairly hot at the start, and I just took my first sip, which your first sip kind of gets the tongue activated, so I'm going to try to get more into it and see. For a lack of a better term with the spirit, it does taste a little bit raw. Like the distillate still tastes like it's still not matured enough almost. And it's hard for me to kind of picture if it's more of the less age or more of it just being a higher rye spirit. Maybe a combination of both. But it's one of those things where when I taste it, it doesn't have necessarily all the same like unique baking notes that a normal rye does. Like when I compare to like bullet rye. But I mean, it still has a more unique taste to it, and I do, and I'm not trying to shoot on it just to shoot on it either. But my kind of review is that I think probably I would give this a 7 out of 10, which is very, I think, respectful.
The word I think I'd use is generous.
Generous? Well, no, I mean, look, is it the best rye whiskey on the market? I probably won't say that. But I do think for this price point, for a craft rye, that is really good. That is actually really good. The one thing I will say is that while it does to me still taste fairly raw, I do think that it would be a fairly decent bourbon kind to introduce people to rye whiskeys that maybe don't drink enough of them. Mm-hmm. Just to give them like a different variant from others like you would try, like Sazerac rye and Wilderness Trail. Wilderness Trail is probably one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. And this is their first shot. This is their first chance. And this is batch 1. I've heard batch 2 is a little bit different. I would love to try the single barrel release that they've done just to see what it tastes like as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad I bought the bottle. It's got a little bit of sentimental value to me also, obviously, and I'm excited to see what Castle and Key does from here. And if there's anything, I'll say they make a damn good bottle. And if there's anything else, their marketing is great on it. So, well, everyone, thank you so much for checking out this episode of Friends in the Corner podcast. I guess you could say relaunch into 2021. And thank you, Catherine, for coming on to the show. Well, guys, thank you so much for checking out the show. If you want to keep up with everything going on, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at FITC Podcast. That's FITC Podcast. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio. Wherever you listen to your podcast, we are there. And if you have ideas for the show, always feel free to email me at friendsinthecorner@gmail.com. That's friendsinthecorner at altogether lowercase at gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening to this random train of thought that we called an episode. And we will see you guys next time at Friends in the Corner podcast. That's a wrap.